Have you ever noticed something strange? The middle class works the hardest, studies the most, saves the longest, and yet rarely becomes rich. Why is it that the 9-to-5 employee who follows every rule still struggles with bills, while someone else, maybe less qualified, quietly builds a multi-million-dollar portfolio through investments in stocks, real estate, or dividend-paying ETFs? Here's the uncomfortable truth. The middle class isn't poor because of lack of effort. They're stuck because they've been trained to think in a way that traps them forever. And in this video, I'm going to break down, step by step, how to escape the middle class and finally move toward financial freedom. But I'll warn you, the truths I'll share will challenge everything you've been taught about money, education, and even success. Stick with me until the very end, because by the last step, you'll see the exact wealth-building strategies the wealthy quietly use to build financial empires while the middle class keeps running on the hamster wheel. If you're serious about building wealth and breaking free from money problems, hit that subscribe button. We've got powerful content lined up to fuel your journey. All right, let's get started. Number 1. Break free from the middle class mindset. Here's something nobody tells you. The middle class is not defined by income. It's defined by mindset. According to the Federal Reserve, in America, the median household income is around $74.580 per year. That's enough to live comfortably, right? But the problem is comfort itself. Comfort makes you accept debt, over-leverage on a mortgage, buy a car that eats half your monthly paycheck, and call it living the dream. Most people are so obsessed with looking rich that they never have the patience to actually become rich. Ask yourself this. If nobody could see the house you live in, the car you drive, or the vacations you post online, would you still spend money the same way? For most people, the honest answer is no. That's the trap. Instead of chasing appearances, redirect that same energy into assets, stocks, index funds like the S&P 500, or even your first rental property. Over time, those investments produce something the middle class almost never experiences: cash flow without labor. Stop asking, "Can I afford the payment?" and start asking, "Will this purchase grow my net worth?" That one question can completely change your trajectory. Number 2. Start your first profit engine. The middle class survives on salaries, the rich survive on systems, and there's a huge difference. Think about it. A salary is capped, but a system, whether it's an online store, a consulting service, or a portfolio of dividend stocks, can scale infinitely. That's why escaping the middle class starts with building your first profit engine, even if it's small. Most of billionaires started their journey with a small service-based business, not a massive startup. That means if you can design, code, write copy, manage ads, or even train dogs, you already have the foundation for your first cash flow machine. The key here is identity. The moment you earn even $1 outside your paycheck, you stop being just an employee. You become a creator of value, and once you start, you'll never see money the same way again. But making money is only the first battle. The real challenge? Not losing it the moment you get it. And that brings us to something the middle class constantly trips over. Number 3. Avoid the lifestyle inflation trap. Every time middle-class workers earn more, they spend more. New raise, bigger house, year-end bonus, fancy vacation. And suddenly, even though their income doubled, they're just as stressed as before. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it's the number one reason people stay trapped in the middle class. The wealthy play this game differently. They know that every dollar spent on liabilities steals from future wealth. That's why instead of buying a $60,000 car outright, they'd rather put that into a stock portfolio. If that grows at 8% annually, in 10 years it's worth over $129,000, enough to buy 2 cars in cash, while their investments keep compounding. Here's a question. If your boss doubled your salary tomorrow, what's the first thing you'd buy? Most people instantly think about consumption. The wealthy think about multiplication. So, the next time you get a raise, treat it like a test. Don't upgrade your lifestyle immediately. Invest that difference into real estate, index funds, or dividend stocks that give you passive income. Over time, the assets you own will upgrade your lifestyle for you. But if reinvesting income is critical, how exactly do you scale without burning out? The answer lies in the next step. Number 4. Reinvest and build systems that scale. This is where middle-class entrepreneurs get stuck. They start a side hustle, make some money, but then they try to do everything themselves. They become their own boss, but also their only employee. That's not a business. That's a trap. True wealth requires leverage. And leverage comes in three forms: capital, tools, and people. Instead of spending your first $10,000 of profit on a vacation, imagine you reinvest it into better tools, ads, or a virtual assistant. That investment could double your income. Now, reinvest again. Hire someone to handle operations while you focus on growth. Do this repeatedly, and you build something that's no longer dependent on your hours. This is exactly how hedge funds and large real estate investors operate. They don't try to do everything. They raise capital, hire experts, and let compounding systems do the heavy lifting. If your business stops when you stop working, you don't own a business, you own a job. But if your systems keep generating cash flow without you, you've built your escape plan. Number 5. Build your wealth reservoir. The middle class makes the fatal mistake of funding their lifestyle directly from their business profits. The wealthy never do this. Instead, they use a two-bucket system. Bucket 1. Their business generates income. Bucket 2. That income is poured into wealth-building assets: stocks, index funds like the S&P 500, rental properties, dividend-paying ETFs, bonds, and mutual funds. These investments generate passive income streams, and only those streams pay for their lifestyle. Businesses can fail, industries can collapse, IPOs can flop, but a diversified portfolio of assets, especially if you own real estate and cash-flowing dividend stocks, provides security no single business ever can. This is how the rich escape the hamster wheel. They build businesses to generate cash, but they use assets to protect their lifestyle. But if you've built wealth reservoirs, what does it actually mean to be rich? That's where we end, with the transformation most people dream of but few ever reach. Number 6. Redefine what it means to be rich. Being rich is not about driving a luxury car or wearing expensive watches. It's about buying back the one thing the middle class never owns: time. When your portfolio, whether it's real estate rental properties, dividend stocks, or index funds, covers your lifestyle, you no longer work for survival. You work for choice. You choose the projects you take on, the people you spend time with, and the legacy you want to leave. Studies show that once your passive income covers around $75,000 a year in the U.S., happiness levels stop rising with more money. That means the real prize isn't the millions in your bank account. It's the freedom to live life on your terms, without fear of bills, bosses, or debt collectors. The middle class spends their life worrying about the next paycheck. The wealthy spend their life designing the next decade. So, ask yourself, do you want to keep trading hours for dollars? Or do you want to escape the middle class, build wealth, and create a life of freedom, security, and abundance? This is not theory. It's a repeatable path that's worked for entrepreneurs, investors, and everyday people who had the courage to think differently. Escaping the middle class isn't just about money, it's about freedom, identity, and legacy. And the best time to start? It's right now. Want more value-packed content like this? Then subscribe, and share this video. It's a small gesture that fuels massive impact. Now, if you want to know 8 salary habits that build wealth quietly, then watch this video. I'll see you there.